The NBA offseason is officially in full swing, and for today's 24-hour update, we are going to be looking at the stories of Kyrie Irving potentially reuniting with LeBron James on the Lakers, the Chicago Bulls showing interest in John Collins, JERAMI Grant potentially getting traded to the Miami Heat, and everything else in between. So buckle up, everybody. Hit that subscribe button for these 24-hour NBA free agency and trade updates, and let's get started. Okay guys, so I woke up this morning and I'm not gonna lie, I started scrolling through my social media accounts and I was seeing so many trade rumors and different news stories and things with free agency and the draft and all that good stuff. And I got a bit overwhelmed because some days it's like there's nothing to talk about, and some days it's like there's a billion things to talk about and you don't know what exactly to zone in on. So I decided I want to start doing a daily series where I just talk about everything, man, because obviously the big news story today is that it sounds like Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets are not going to come to an agreement on a contract, and he's going to be going elsewhere, probably, right? Not 100%, it's all speculation still, but also I heard that, I don't know, Kenyon Martin Jr. requested a trade from the Houston Rockets, which I think is also very important to talk about. So, yeah, we're going to be going through all the updates, guys. Before we get going on this video, if you guys do like this concept of these daily updates like this, please leave a like on the video. Remember, I cannot grow this channel without you. All the work I put in, everything like that, man, I still need your help in the end of the day, so please hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into it, because so much to talk about, man. So yes, there's 3 pages, I guess 4 pages that I follow, mainly for my NBA news and just updates and stuff like that. Obviously Woj, Shams, I also look at NBA Central and Legion Hoops, I believe it is. So we've been going through some of them pages and stuff like that and going like that. So this was about 24 hours ago. There was a report that the Lakers are interested in acquiring Bradley Beal. They do not have the assets. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal is not going to work because the only way Russell Westbrook goes back to the Wizards is if Bradley Beal's there. There's no other reason why the Wizards would do that. So let's move on from that, man. Next up, we have the Miami Heat are interested in trading for JERAMI Grant. This is about 18 hours ago at the making of this video. The source here is Adam and Bore. And I will say that JERAMI Grant, I think, is a perfect fit on the Miami Heat. As far as the assets to do so, I mean, as a Piston fan, obviously the guy that I'm interested in is Tyler Hero, just because that type of shooting guard next to Cade Cunningham would be absolutely lethal. But I also know that Heat fans would not want to give up Tyler Hero for JERAMI Grant. So beyond that, other assets you guys have, I mean, I was talking a little bit about it with some Heat fans, and they were saying stuff like Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, and Yurtseven in exchange for JERAMI Grant. Max Strus, I think, could be a good guard in the NBA, but I think the Pistons are already going to have a surplus of guards anyway, so instead of having a whole bunch of solid guards, you want to consolidate and have, a really good guard, hey, a Tyler Hero. Duncan Robinson, the dude's don't really got the greatest contract, let's call it like it is, he really doesn't. But, great three-point shooter. Yurtseven, I'm actually a big fan of. I think he's going to be a really good player in the NBA. But I just think that there's probably better trades for the Pistons when it comes to JERAMI Grant, plain simple. So that's kind of my thoughts there on that. The next one we have up here is the Pacers are seriously discussing trades centered on Miles Turner. This is via Shams himself. I'll even go as far as saying I saw earlier too, they're also looking at deals with Malcolm Brogdon. I believe the teams that have been interested have been the Hornets, the Knicks, and I think there was one more team. We'll see it eventually here, man. Let's actually kind of pause on that one for now and kind of go from there. We have the Chicago Bulls have had eyes on John Collins. Have not really thought about John Collins in terms of being a member of the Chicago Bulls. I do think that, DeMar obviously is the small forward of that team. I think Zach LaVine, who should be re-signing, everything I've been hearing has been leaning towards a re-sign. You got him at the 2 spot, got Lons with the point guard spot. And then you look at the power forward spot for the Chicago Bulls, and I'm still a big Patrick Williams fan. I would much rather have the Bulls take a chance on what Patrick Williams could become next season. The dude missed the entire year because of injury, right? And when he came back, he was looking pretty good. And that's even assuming he missed the entire year, right, man? So with John Collins, I feel like John Collins is a good player. I feel like you kind of know what to expect out of him, and I'd much rather just see that gamble be taken on Patrick Williams at this point. I think John Collins is somebody you can trade for later on down the road if the Bulls management really want to do that, but also putting him next to Vucevic as far as the front court goes, I think that is a recipe for disaster, defensively speaking. So not a huge fan of not a huge fan of John Collins on the Bulls. We'll call it like it is. I think there's probably better opportunities for him and for the Chicago Bulls collectively speaking. Next up here, we have the Brooklyn Nets are considered unlikely to match a mid-level offer to Nick Claxton, which means he's going to be I think that means he would be an unrestricted free agent, maybe restricted. I forgot how it goes when it comes to matching and stuff like that. But regardless, he is going to be a free agent. Is there a better opportunity out there for Claxton? The Nets, a lot of drama going on with him right now because obviously we don't know how Ben Simmons is going to be incorporated into the team. We don't know if Kyrie Irving is going to be back next season. We don't know how that's going to affect Kevin Durant. Honestly, I think that the Nets should match and, get Claxton back on the team, assuming the price is right and everything. The reason I say that is because this team doesn't really have a lot going on as far as young assets go. I mean, the team just completely blows up. You have a 6'10 center that knows the system is still really young. You have him combined, with Cam Thomas. I think that's at least something to start off with. And regardless, I think Claxton is somebody that can be traded down the road anyway. Like I said, man, 6'10", 6'11 center. I think there's a lot of teams that would definitely take somebody on like that, especially if the contract is right. So, yeah. Okay, next up. Let's go. All right, next we have Kenny Martin Jr. recently approached Rockets management to discuss the possibility of a trade. So this is one guy that I've kind of been wondering what's going on with him, just because you look at that Rockets team and there is a lot of good young talent on that squad. And obviously they're probably gonna get Paolo Banchero. I think that's the latest rumor of who they're gonna draft. And that's gonna leave, another forward position in minutes not available for a guy like Kenyon Martin Jr., who I do very well. I know he puts in the work. This dude wants to be a great NBA player like his father was. It doesn't really give him a good chance. And yeah, I think that is completely fair. Rockets management might look at Kenny Martin Jr. and see him as still a project or somebody that it's okay, maybe this guy gets 10 minutes a game, but this guy wants to bet on himself and be no, man, I made it to the NBA. I've worked hard to get here. I've been putting in the work with my game. Give me an opportunity somewhere else. And yeah, I think that makes complete sense. I don't know who he would be packaged with exactly. I mean, honestly, you could probably get him for maybe a protected first round pick or some second round pick, something like that. Maybe sign and trade with Dennis Schroeder. I don't really know, but yeah, something along those lines. We also have, it's been reported about an hour ago from Mark Stein saying that the likelihood of a John Collins trade is as high as it's ever been. So this might be something down the road to make another individual video about. And that's kind of what I'm going to be doing with this, man. It's giving these summaries, but then opportunities to make full-on videos, discussing just players as their own. I still think it's something I really want to do too, man. But yeah, John Collins, there's been tons of trade rumors about him. As far as his best fit, a while ago, I would have said the Dallas Mavericks, but now that Christian Wood's on that team, I do not like the idea of that from a defensive standpoint from the front court. So, yeah, I wouldn't really say there's a team that really just blows my mind being wow, this team really needs John Collins. I guess maybe you could see a plausible opportunity with the OKC Thunder, him next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They go out, maybe draft a Chet or somebody like that. All of a sudden, your front court is very youthful, but also has a lot of all-star potential. So, yeah, that one just very, very kind of just loosely comes to my mind as a team that I think would make a lot of sense. Alrighty, next up we have Jimmy Butler does not want to talk about the Eastern Conference Finals loss. He's still not ready. That does not do with trades. We have the Houston Rockets are expected to draft Paolo Banchero. So we can't predict what the Magic are going to do, but it seems like they're leaning towards Jabari Smith. You got Paolo over there, and you got Chet going to the OKC Thunder. I like it all around, man. That seems good to me. I think that's kind of how I predicted it myself too. So definitely good with that. We got Dennis Schroeder expected to leave the Houston Rockets. Makes a lot of sense. The team's going more than the youthful rebuild route. They have their pieces. Dennis Schroeder can help out a contender as a backup point guard. Should not be a starting point guard in today's NBA, but definitely as a backup point guard, I think Schroeder has a lot of room to help. I think the Celtics could use him a lot too even. So yeah, that's it for NBA Central. Let me go ahead and hit up another one of these pages. I know there's always a few, and we're going to get to Kyrie at the end here, man. Let's go to Legion Hoops next here, man, see if there's anything that we missed. Yeah, this was the Pacers have seriously engaged in trade talks regarding Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner. The three teams interested are the Knicks, Wizards, and Hornets. I think the Knicks make a lot of sense as far as Malcolm Brogdon goes. Just getting that highly efficient point guard or / shooting guard, combo guard, playing on the team is exactly what they need. They need somebody that doesn't do too much, and is going to make all the right moves and, be a foundation to continue building that team around guys like RJ Barrett or Obi Toppin. You got the Washington Wizards. Love Brogdon next to Bradley Beal. Brogdon and Miles Turner are two of the most insert them into any team that you think could use them type of players ever. You just know it's going to work out. Like, both these guys know their role. They perfected it, and they're great because of it, man. And then the Hornets, I think they would have more interest in Miles Turner. But once again, Miles Turner, a guy that can shoot threes, block shots, play great defense. Like, which team, what team would not want him? And yeah, the Pacers are definitely in a good bargaining position. They can get some really nice pieces out here. I would not give away either one of these guys for anything, especially Miles Turner, just based off of knowing that so many teams would be seeking these guys out. I think you can really get a bidding war going if you are a fan of the Indiana Pacers. As far as anything else goes, I think that's it for that page. So let's get down to the final topic. This was on Sham's page himself, man, saying that Kyrie Irving Nets are at an impasse in conversations about his future in Brooklyn, clearing way for the 7-time All-Star to consider the open market. Lakers and Knicks expected to emerge among potential suitors, man. So, yes, for one, I'm going to say straight up, there is no way that Kyrie is going to the Lakers. Now, I know a lot of people want to see. A lot of people want to see Kyrie back with LeBron James, especially in Hollywood, in Cali like that. It would be exciting, but realistically speaking, what could they give up to do this? There is no way the Brooklyn Nets are going to take Russell Westbrook and start him alongside Ben Simmons. That is a recipe for total disaster. Kevin Durant is going to request a trade to the damn Memphis Grizzlies like that, man. Like, it's just going to happen. There is no possible way. Like, unless Nets fans are like, hey, like, bring in Russell Westbrook, we'll give him a shot and go from there, but I just don't see it. As far as the Knicks go, once again, trading with the home state rival like that, I guess it would, because I believe, he would decline the player option, make him an unrestricted free agent, so I guess he can still go to a team like the Knicks. I don't know their complete cap situation. The Lakers, I do not think could actually afford him, so they would have to, like, do something with Russell Westbrook, so I guess that opportunity is still there. There's paths, I guess, for both of these things to happen. It's just, I don't know if it's going to be something that's going to be taken care of overnight. A third team that I was reading about that is actually also interested in Kyrie that I think is probably the best fit, plain and simple, is actually the LA Clippers, man. So, yeah, Kyrie averages about 6 assists per game. But I really do like the idea of that Clippers team just having, like, another guy that can go on and get 50 points on any given night. The issue there is once the entire Clippers team is healthy, which, knock on wood, man, not very often, right? I mean, it's a little bit of an insurance policy, but also knowing very well that once everybody's healthy, Kyrie, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, how exactly is that logistically going to work with their lineup? I mean, who's going to be the third option on that team, right? You would probably point towards, I don't know, Paul George, right? I don't know, man. It's difficult to really say. I do think it's time, maybe for Kyrie Irving to move on to an extent, though. Like, it seems like it's a pretty failed experiment with the Brooklyn Nets. Let's call it like it is. I'm not saying that Kyrie's going to go out there and save a franchise. I don't know if he's that guy anymore. Like, he'd definitely make a franchise better, but as far as, having Kyrie Irving and knowing that it's going to solidify your chances at getting an NBA championship, just looking at years past, with the Boston Celtics and Brooklyn Nets, just not really there. But I think if there was anyone in any team to get the most out of Kyrie Irving, it would be LeBron James. It would be. I mean, kind of want to see it. I ain't gonna lie, man. I kind of want to see it, but I think that is all we have for the rumors, guys. That was quite a few of them. I still might take some opportunities to do some individual videos about them, but if you guys do like more of this like 24-hour update type of thing, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace out, my friends.